lot of talk about affordable housing, and that obviously is something that is on a lot of people's minds right now, because a lot of young people, unfortunately, are have been shut out of the and feel as though they'll never obtain that dream of home ownership. First of all, what's your message to people who feel really kind of disenfranchised by the whole thing and frustrated by the whole thing?
You know what? I think don't give up hope. I think that's the first thing. Make sure your credit's good. And I think start saving. Use the first home savings account. Huge. Use the RRSP. Max it out. Because now you can borrow $60,000 from your RRSP. And every year you can contribute to your first home savings account. I think that's going to be really important. And the other thing is that the federal government is rolling out here in August the 30-year amortization for new constructed or newly constructed homes for first-time home buyers. So I think that things will progressively get better for first-time home buyers. So don't give up hope and make the right decisions today. And, before the show, we were talking to one of our producers, and I was saying just first-time home buyers are becoming more creative in the sense of, I've had borrowers where there's been 3 of them buy a duplex together. 2 were going to live in one unit, and 1 was going to live in the other unit. None of them could afford to buy anything on their own, but collectively, together with all 3, they were able to make it work. So I think that first-time home buyers are stepping in the right direction in terms of, figuring out a way to get into the property ladder. We've said this before. Homeowners typically have a higher net worth than renters because their property appreciates. The challenge is getting into the housing market for the first time. So first-time home buyers need the most amount of help, whether that's a family gift, whether it's multiple borrowers on title, whether it's save as much as you can, and really making sure your credit is going to be top-notch. I think there are challenges. That's reality. But, we hear the Prime Minister on social media and on the news saying homeownership is a priority for first-time home buyers, and that's why some of these changes are happening.
Can you borrow your down payment?
You can certainly borrow your down payment from an unsecured line of credit card. Might not want to do that, but you can. There is what we call a flex down program, which is part that the insurers offer. It's a program. You can borrow 5% of your down payment. And also in Nova Scotia, we have the Nova Scotia Down Payment Assistance Program, which is very, very interesting. It is an interest-free program. You can borrow your down payment, which would be 5%. And there's certain caps depending on what region you're in and certain pots of money that you're able to access. But you can borrow your 5% down. And then it basically is a second mortgage on your home. And you have 10 years to pay that back interest-free.
Right.
Great program.
Right. And I've heard Claudia Chender, leader of the NDP, not to make this a political show, but one of her planks is to expand that program because obviously there's a great need for that, right? I
think there certainly is a need. And I'll be 100% honest with you, Todd. I think the down payment isn't the biggest challenge for first-time home buyers. I think the bigger challenge is qualifying based on income. Stress test is huge. And really having the other pieces like the credit and obviously the down payment. But I think really the ratios in terms of the income is one of the bigger challenges that we're seeing right now for first-time home buyers. A lot of people that we're seeing for pre-approvals, they have the down payment. They have it maybe from a group RRSP, maybe they've had savings, maybe they have a family gift. But the bigger challenge sometimes is getting those ratios in line just due to the stress test.
All right.
So I think the 30-year amortization will help.
Right. So when it comes to new housing stock or new builds, there's conversation about prefabs as being an option to try and somehow get that price down, $300, $350, something reasonable. Is that realistic or no? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know yet, Todd.
Yeah.
I think that there needs to be some alignment between the feds and the province and the municipality and as well as builders. And I think that if we can streamline, a design that is going to be acceptable, across all the provinces, then I think there might be some more economies of scale, if you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
I think building one-offs, it doesn't work. That's basically almost like doing a custom build. But if they can do, hundreds or thousands of these units at once, it'll make it a lot more efficient. And I think it will drive the price down. Anything that I think can be replicated. And I think that if they, I'm totally fine with prefabs. Like I'll say that, I think mobile homes are tough because typically those are more of a depreciating asset. But a prefab on a foundation. I think there is a market here, and I think it will work in Nova Scotia. I think it's just about being able to bring them to market in mass. And I don't want to discount builders for what they do. We've criticized them. We've criticized builders a lot over the last 3 or 4 years due to some of the things that have happened around, pulling out of contracts, increasing the price, inflation. They're just turning the buck over to consumers. And I think when you're building a new home, you need to have a little bit of a risk appetite that things can go wrong, right? Yeah. But I think with these prefabs, it can be very controlled. And a lot of times I think they're done in a controlled environment. So you know what you're getting. I think the time frame can certainly be a lot quicker for delivery. But I think they need to be a vanilla offering. I think they need to be done in mass. I think they need to be very similar. And it's like very limited customization. Let's just get them to market and get an affordable price point. And I really like this for like off of the 107. There's so much land. Yeah. I like this going out towards the airport. Again, there's so much construction out there already, but a lot of this are, it's all custom homes. Out towards the Valleyway between here and, Windsor. There's so many regions where we can build like subdivisions of 100, 200, 300 plus homes and bring these to market very, very quickly. Yeah. Are they going to be the most beautiful homes that we've ever seen? No, they're going to be cookie cutter. That's what we need. We've done this before in wartime, so I know that Canada can do this. But it's going to definitely take some motivation. It's probably going to take some tax incentives. It might have the, Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation turn into an actual bank for some of these builders and maybe borrowers. I don't know. But I think it is possible. But they're certainly going, now that we've rolled out this plan of building nearly 4 million homes, we're going to need some programs to support the motivation of the federal government.
What are your thoughts on densification, to use that term?
I'm all for it.
Yeah? Tell me why.
Because in Halifax, we have not been as motivated towards construction as we probably should have had. And now, guess what? We're dealing with a hangover here. We should have had all sky-high towers along Roby Street, along Wise Road in Dartmouth. They're starting to come. There's lots that are ready. But we should have been fast-tracking this construction like 20 years ago. We didn't have the foresight. We didn't think that we were going to have the population growth. But the one nice thing here in Halifax and in Nova Scotia, we have a lot of land. We do not have the problem that Toronto has, that Vancouver has. We have land to build on. And I think densification is a lot better for Halifax than urban sprawl. I'm about protecting, heritage as well. But, heritage properties are along Roby Street. A lot of these were like post-explosion. Like, we're not talking heritage of heritage. We are protecting the real heritage downtown in the North End, South End. Like that, I'm fine with. But I think along these major thoroughfares where we already have, 4+ lanes, let's build it up, baby. Like, come on.
And of course, transit and the use of transit and
it's
all
already
that.
There.
It's all there, right?
We have the infrastructure.
The infrastructure's there. You don't have to build it all out. The sprawl, like you got to build all that out.
Let's
right?
double, triple down. Just think about where your radio station's located on the corner of Yonge and Roby, almost.
Yeah.
There is so much construction around there. That's what we need all along Roby Street is what we're seeing there, in central North End Halifax. If you've liked what you've heard and you want to learn more, feel free to visit us online at teamclinton.ca.